I've already told you, but happy birthday, man. How does it
Thank
feel?
you, thank you. Exactly the same as yesterday.
Exactly as it was yesterday. Everyone always says the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I've actually like a lot of people have noticed this, but like, not only, I mean, I've never been a big birthday guy anyway. Like my one buddy, he celebrates his birthday month, like his whole birthday month.
Damn.
Um,
I've
yeah,
met I've met those people.
and if it's his birthday week, look out, you know, like
Oh,
he's the king of the castle during that whole week. But no, for me, it's like I forgot, like I don't forget what day my birthday is. I know that my birthday is November 8th, right?
mhm.
But I will forget when my birthday is coming up. Like I lose track of days, and I don't like constantly think about when my birthday is. So like the other day, I was doing a Fortnite live where like I was playing with viewers, and somebody said something about the date, and I looked down and I saw that it was the 6th, and I was like, it's my
Oh, my
brother's birthday
birthday's
today.
coming up
Well,
soon.
my brother's is the 6th,
Oh, really? 2 days
and that
before?
was how, yeah, and that was how because somebody asked me how old I was, and I said I'm 29, I'll be 30 in, and I looked at the date and I was like, oh, 2 days, and I was like, and I texted my brother and I was like the only reason I remembered it was your birthday is because somebody brought up the 6th, and he was like, yeah, man, getting old is crazy, and he's like, I only remembered your birthday was coming up because I have a chiropractor appointment that day.
Yo, you know
Yeah.
what's funny? The only reason I remember my brother's birthday is because it's November 5th, and
Mm.
because the I don't know if you saw the movie V for Vendetta. Remember the 5th of November.
Yeah,
That
yeah, yeah.
is the only reason I remember my brother's birthday because it's exactly that day, and I just remember that quote from the movie, and
See,
that's
there's another song. I think it's Remember the 8th of November, and it's let's see. I think it's the end of World War II. No, it ended September 2nd. I don't know what. I think it might have been a battle or something. Let me see. Let me see. I'm just gonna type in remember the 8th of November. Yeah. Let's see. It was Vietnam, not World War II.
it was one of the worlds.
Yeah. It's the anniversary of a 1965 battle in Vietnam where 48 American soldiers were, and an African American medic named Lawrence Joel received the Medal of Honor. Nice.
So an important day.
It was a very important day. Dude, 48 were killed. Imagine how many were wounded, and this dude was out there taking care of business. He was like, not today,
He
no
was
more.
he was saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, bro. Um, oh, so did you have any questions prepared? I know you wanted to talk about AOT.
Oh,
I don't know
you
if you want to
you
just jump
know
right
you
into it.
know I want to talk about AOT. You
Yeah,
watch the ending then.
I did watch the ending, yes, and I
Thoughts.
was I was
I need
prepared
to
to
know
hate
your
it.
thoughts before I go ahead and throw in all of my spiel.
I liked it. I liked it. It wasn't exactly how I thought it was gonna end. Now I realized though
Had
by
you
the end of the
wait before
episode,
before you go on? Had you read the manga? Like, did you know the
no,
ending? Because
no,
so this was your first time.
this is yeah. This is what I was about to say. I noticed by the end of the episode, I was like, man, since the ending of the manga, I have bit by bit received spoilers for every scene in this finale. Like I just got them all out of order. So like nothing that happened. The only thing that happened that surprised me was the Titans growing out of Eren's back. Like basically, and everybody getting turned into Titans.
Oh yeah,
Basically everything else, I already knew. But like I tried to avoid spoilers, tried so hard, but the AOT fans were just
yeah. I mean,
no spoiler warnings when you're complaining.
I don't
People are
remember.
too mad.
I don't remember exactly how long ago the ending came out, but I know that because it's been a while, people have been going crazy over it.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised that you got some spoilers in there, but
Yeah.
you overall you liked it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Um, I have to talk about this one scene
Oh,
real quick.
let's do it.
And I know you probably felt it too.
Let's do
But
it.
it's when all the humans are being taken, like basically like herded towards that cliff,
Yes.
and that lady holds up her baby. Me and my wife are sitting there. Like my buddy's a very empathetic person, right? So all three of us are sitting there watching it because we like that's like our core group. We watch anime together. And
Mhm.
that's why I didn't move forward with the manga. By the way, any anime that we watch as a group, none of us read ahead and none of us
Well,
watch
that's
ahead.
good.
We
That's
all
good.
we all watch it the same. So it's like it's always a risk reward thing. It's like, do I introduce this anime to the group watching? Because at that point,
You gotta
if I
stop
really
reading
really
the
want to
manga.
watch it, I'm restricted to 1 day a week, and then I can't read ahead if it ends. Like Black Clover. Black Clover is one that I am not caught up in the manga because we watch the anime together.
It's
In
okay.
fact, this
Nobody is.
we've been waiting for Black Clover content for so long. We considered just starting the whole thing over.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a scene where that lady holds up her baby, and every other human there is in just as much danger, but they
But they still
still
holding
made
up
an
that
active
baby.
effort to hold up a stranger's baby and get it away from the edge. And my buddy was feeling it, but my wife and I were like misty eyed. Like seeing that, I was like, if only that woman could have seen that her baby made it.
That
You
was
know what I
one
mean?
of the most powerful scenes of that entire episode, and nobody is talking about it.
As a
No
parent, that
one.
was one of the most powerful scenes I've ever seen in anime.
And you
Like
know,
just like specifically like something that hit me in my dad heart, like that was intense.
and you know what's interesting? I don't know if this is true or not, but I saw earlier today someone posted a couple of like pictures showing like foreshadowing and all that, and apparently in like the beginning of the I don't remember what season it was. Whenever Eren and the Eldians invade Marley,
Mm-hmm.
and like the first episode, there's a lady walking that's pregnant that looks exactly like the woman at the end that's holding up the baby,
Oh,
kind of showing like she gave birth between the invasion in Marley and the rumbling.
yeah.
And I thought that was
Ooh.
just cool. But the way that they just put everything in black and white, but kept the baby in
Kept the
color,
baby red.
like
Oh my
red
goodness.
to focus on him, and like as soon as the
Yeah.
mom is falling, like that man just grabs him and then just pulls him up, and everyone's just
Oh,
passing and holding him up. That was the most powerful scene, and no one is talking about it because everyone is just focused on the whole Aaron crying thing.
yeah. No, to
Which
me, that dude, like that guy that grabbed the baby, is the hero of the war.
the
He
real
deserves a medal.
MVP.
Like, yeah, dude. Like, I know he didn't kill any Titans, all right, but what he did do is something that most humans would not have the strength to do, or the like presence of mind to do, because he was on the precipice of the cliff himself,
Yeah,
and
he
he
was about to
reaches
fall
out
himself, and he
to
just
grab this baby and throws it back. Oh my gosh,
like
dude! I could.
like
Oh
before
man,
before he falls, because he was about to, he was right there on the edge too, and everyone
yeah,
kept pushing. Before he fell, he actually made sure to pass on the baby so that it would move forward, and then people continue doing it.
yeah. And you see, they kept doing it until the rumbling stopped, and then they finally like brought the baby down, and it was like, oh,
Yeah,
it just hit me so hard,
that
man.
was that
When they
was
went back to it and showed the baby like was still safe, I was like, thank God.
yeah, that
Oh
was
man,
good.
that
But
that was
I want to
yeah. Go
talk.
ahead, do
I
your
want to
thing.
talk about the Aaron crying thing. How did you feel about that? Because that is one of the biggest reasons everyone hates the Attack on Titan ending, and it's
Is
that
that
because like
when he
oh,
was
he was turned into this like super man that like has no emotions and strong, and then he just became a simp crying over Mikasa. And I wanna hear your thoughts on it, especially
so
from someone that didn't read the manga, because I read the manga ending like a long time ago when it came out. So I
yeah.
knew what to expect with this scene, even though they changed it a little bit. It wasn't
Hmm.
a completely new anime ending, but they did
Yeah.
add a little bit of information. They changed
I
a little
heard
bit of
that.
the
I
line.
heard they add context, added lines that weren't in
Yeah,
the
they
manga.
added a little bit of the dialogue to kind of explain things a little bit more, but it wasn't
Yeah.
like a whole new ending. But I do
Mm.
want to hear your take. How did you feel about the whole Aaron crying thing? How did you
Are
interpret
you
it?
talking about when he cried over Mikasa
Yeah,
potentially finding someone else?
yeah,
Yeah, so that makes sense in the context of the episode for me, because like that whole situation there is him explaining that like he thought he was going to be unlocking like the ability to get like gain freedom when he got like the founding titan, right? And he had this plan that like, okay, I'm going to wipe out all of our enemies, and that way we're going to be safe, and I'm going to get to spend the rest of my like short titan shifter life with Mikasa and with Armin, and it's going to be great, and paradise is finally going to have peace. And then once he got the power, he came to the conclusion very quickly of like, oh no, I I'm bound by fate. There's no such thing as freedom for me. And like whether everyone in the AOT universe is bound by fate, or whether it's like irony that like in order to free his people he has to give up his freedom, like that was his thing, and he's been struggling with it. And not only is he struggling with um like the more serious stuff like the 80% and everything like that, and the fact that his friends are going to have to end him, but the fact that like all he really wanted was to live a peaceful life. So it's like it's almost like he's reverting. Like when you see when the rumbling starts and it flashes to like what he's feeling and
Hmm.
he's a kid. It's like that, right? Like and like so he's flashing kind of back and forth between how like his mindset now and his mindset then, and like younger Eren is realizing is dealing with the consequences of older Eren. Like that's all going on in his brain at the exact same time, and he's like in that moment like coming to terms with the fact of like, oh my gosh, I was so focused on the numbers, I was so focused on you guys ending up heroes, I didn't even think about the fact that like she might move on.
I
You know what I
thought
mean? And like and like let's be honest, like if you've ever actually loved a woman, the thought of her ending up with somebody else, if that doesn't make you tear up, like you didn't love her, dude. Like what do you like? You know what I mean? Like that was just a girl. Like that was not a woman you loved. You know
I
what I
got
mean?
an interesting take on this. Okay, you ready for this?
Yeah.
Eren was not in love with Mikasa.
I wouldn't say it was. I would say Eren was in love with Mikasa in the sense that like that's as close as he could get.
Here's my take on
At
this.
least what I got from it.
Here's what I gather from it. Eren was not in love with Mikasa. He was in love with the attention he was getting from
It's a
Mikasa.
way better way to say what I
And
was about to say. Yeah.
here's the thing why. And all of my basis on this take is the wording that was specifically used in that conversation with Armin.
Mm-hmm.
Nowhere did he ever say anything about wanting to be with Mikasa. Nowhere did he say anything about loving her or wanting her anything. All he kept saying was, I want her to be thinking about me. I want her to
For
be
at least 10 years.
for at least 10 years. I don't want her to move on. I don't want her to be with another man. I just want her to think about me. But he never actually stated any sign of reciprocating that towards her.
Mm.
Like throughout the entire series, we always see Mikasa obsessed with Eren. We always see her trying to come at him, to kiss him, to be with him.
Mm.
Even on the flashback that we got of the times that Eren was visiting her through the path, and
Mm.
like this idea of them escaping and living in that little house together, there's still no indication of them being together outside of holding hands and running next to each other. You
Yeah.
know, they escaped together, they held hands, and they ran away. But that was literally it. She was the
I
one that was all for him. She was trying to kiss him. She was in love with him. He was just obsessed with this idea of being the one and only person that she cared about.
You know what I think it is? I think it's to emphasize how immature Eren actually was.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Because what is a young guy, his first big pump of testosterone into his body, you know what I mean? What does he think that he wants from a woman? He wants a woman who is acting like Mikasa does to him, right? She's obsessed with him. She's in love with him. But he gets to live his life normal, do whatever he wants, and she's obsessed with him. So that's something he doesn't have to worry about. You know what I mean? So that does make sense thinking about it
And
like
that
that.
goes back to the whole point of the whole Mikasa being the one that would free the founder from her
Mm,
curse of being in love with her enslaver. You know,
yeah.
because he did atrocious things to her. He completely took her against her will. He decimated her entire bloodline, cut her
Called her
tongue
a
out,
slave.
called her a slave, like had multiple wives while she was there
No,
waiting
I
for him.
was talking. I was talking about Eren.
Oh,
When he was talking to Mikasa, because
yeah,
he repeated that. That's what I'm saying. Like
yeah.
Eren did that to Mikasa too.
And that was the whole point, that like Mikasa, even though Eren was doing all of this to her, she was still in love with him no matter what he did.
Yeah,
But at the end, she still went through the action of ending his life because what he was doing was wrong, and that's what
yeah,
freed the founder. But at the same time, I just don't. I think that Eren is supposed to represent King Fritz, not
hmm
having that same reciprocity. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a word.
no, yeah, that is the word. Yeah,
Okay, not
yeah,
having that towards Mikasa, but still using her.
mm,
While Mikasa was in love with him,
yeah,
just like the founder was with King Fritz, but she was able to take action against him, something that Emir, the founder, was never able to do.
yeah. No, so I was a little bit confused at that part. That was so people were asking me because I said overall now for me now having seen the entire series because like I don't rate a series until I'm done with it. Like I see a lot of people they're like One Piece is a 10 out of 10. I'm on episode 380. You know what I mean? I'm like you got a lot to go. They could fumble for you. you got like 700 more episodes. Um,
Right.
but so I was like, I expect this to be a 10. My final rating for it is a 9.5, and the only reason is just and I've only watched the final episode once.
Hmm.
That was something that was a little bit confusing for me in the way that it was portrayed. It seemed like it happened so fast that, like, maybe it's because of the time that it was when I was watching it, that I wasn't fully, like, you know
Right.
I wasn't in the zone, like, 100% picking up on everything. But it just felt like that was kind of like an explanation thrown at the end of it. But, like, the way you explained it, I fully understand it. Like, that makes so much sense to me. I knew that, like, they were saying, like, oh, Mikasa is the one to break the curse, and this is now this is gonna finally put Ymir at rest, and now the Titans are gone, and blah 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 blah. But I didn't understand why.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
why
like,
when Mikasa goes into the mouth of the colossal titan Eren and cuts his head off, you can see the founder in the back kind of smiling or grinning.
yeah,
In the manga was way clearer. You can like see her entire face and how she's smiling. In the
yeah,
anime, they kind of made it look a little blurred out.
mm,
But yeah, that's the whole purpose of why she's in the back smiling, is because Mikasa actually went through with the actions to free her, as in, even though this person was doing horrible things to you and you were in love with him, you were able to take action against him. And that's
yeah,
why Ymir was enslaved in the path for so long, because she was still in love with King Fritz by that time.
yeah. So what? Because I'm just for it's obviously it's been since spring since I even
Yeah.
watched any AOT stuff. What is the actual connection, is if any, between the Ackermans and the, like, I guess, the founding Titans, like
They
the
the Ackermen were basically just like the bodyguards
okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah,
of
I
King
remember that.
Fritz
Okay,
back at the time. I think it was. So it kind of
so
just stayed through generations like that. Anyone with the Ackerman bloodline just had this inner ability to awaken the
mhm.
strength and the skills from the previous Ackerman, and they were
Oh, is
completely
that
immune.
what that works?
Yeah,
That's how, because I knew that they, like, unlocked a skill, but it drained a lot of stamina or whatever.
yeah. But it was
But
basically they kind
so
of channeled in all of the Ackerman bloodline when they awakened their abilities.
that's why they're, like, way better than, like, anybody
That's why
else.
they're
Like,
better than everyone else, and
yeah,
that's why Mikasa and Levi are just way over the top, because they just kind of channeled all of the Ackerman bloodline when they
yeah,
awaken this ability, and then they just become OP.
yeah. Yeah. So in a sense, then, King Fritz is represented by, because, like, so she had those three kids with King Fritz, right?
I think
Those were
she,
hers.
yeah, those were
Where
hers.
they show the three kids, like, I think they were eating her.
There were, I think it was more than three. It was basically the names of all the walls. It was Maria, and I can't remember. I'm gonna have to look it up. But
Yeah.
yeah, all of those kids that were eating her were her kids with King Fritz, and that's why
Okay. Because
he made them eat her so that they could inherit the powers that she had, and that's how all of the Titans were split. So
so
I guess it was more than three, since every single child got a Titan power.
there would have been nine originally, or would there have been, I guess, yeah, nine to count all of them. But
Let's
I was
see.
thinking, like, well, what if
Oh no, no, you're
what if it was
right.
eight
You're
and
right. It
Ymir?
was three. It was Maria, Rose, and Sheena. They were the
Okay.
ones that devoured her to gain the Titan's abilities.
So, um, so they that part kind of confused me, because I was like, wait, so they don't get it just from their blood, or is it the specific Titans that he wanted?
It was the spinal fluid what gives them the power.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Eldians have the potential to transform, but they won't unlock it without the spinal fluid, correct?
Eldians
Because
are
I'm trying to remember
yeah,
everything that happened
no,
previously.
you're good. Eldians are the ones that are able to unlock the power of the Titans by
Mm,
being Eldians, like having the Eldian bloodline,
yeah.
but they have to eat the spinal or drink the spinal fluid of a previous Titan power user.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah. No. 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 It's all coming back. It's
yeah,
all coming back.
they can all
Uh,
become Titans, but they have to in order to gain the abilities and like wake up the Titan powers, it has to be through the spinal fluid of a
yeah.
previous user.
So it's kind of cool then, because it's like the way, the mirror of it, because, like, Eren then would be a direct descendant of King Fritz, and then Mikasa would be not a direct descendant, but like in the same type of position, where she's, like, to the side of King Fritz and
Right,
in love with him. That is cool.
right.
I like that mirroring. I was thinking of doing a I just didn't end up having the time or trying to coordinate with all three of us to get together. But I was like, we should just binge and then do the ending because I was like, from now on, like that's a fantastic recommendation. Can you imagine watching AOT front to back now? All like not maybe not all in one sitting because it is pretty long,
But
but
yeah,
like
so
just back to back to back.
being able to
It,
watch it and not have to wait like 7 months for
yeah,
one 40-minute episode to come out and then wait a whole year for another one to come out. Yeah, I know.
yeah. I saw somebody say they said if we put our differences aside, we can all admit that these three anime carried 2023, and it was One Piece, Jujutsu Kaisen, and AOT. I have never seen a clear definition of recency bias in my life. Like AOT killed it twice this year.
Yeah.
They dropped a fire episode in the spring, and they dropped a fire episode in the fall. They bookended
100%.
2023.
100%.
But like everybody else was doing their thing all year. You know what I mean? Like I like not to like, and it's not even to belittle Attack on Titan at all. It's just to like bring it back down because you're just going crazy a little bit.
It's the ending. You know, everyone is a little nostalgic with the ending,
Yeah.
even though there was a lot of hate towards that ending. There was one thing about the Attack on Titan ending that I didn't like, and that was Porco awakening this whole bird with the Jaws Titan. That's the one thing that didn't sit well with me. If you tell me he was the Beast Titan, okay, I understand that.
When he came on screen, I literally asked, I was like, because they were showing all like the past Titans coming out of the founding, and I was like, oh, maybe that's a past Beast Titan, and then I was like, but it's got a jaw.
Yeah, he was the Beast Titan, which awakened as a beak, and then he turned into a full blown with feathers bird. That's the one thing that I didn't understand, didn't like. Outside of that, I was perfectly okay with everything with the Attack on Titan ending. It's just that did not sit well with me. Why did he awaken as a bird? You know, and I completely understand that every other Jaws Titan had some sort of like animalistic relation. Like Galliard looked like a lion with the hair looked like a lion's mane. Maybe I'm reaching for this, but I just did not understand why Porco awakened as some sort of bird. And then, and then at the others, we got to think about the beginning. Like the first time that Eren transformed into a Titan, he had no control over it. And the Marleyans put the audience that they turn into Titans through like rigorous training in order for them to be able to like fully be able to use the abilities of the Titan. But for some reason, the first time that Porco awakened, he was able to just learn how to fly on the go.
He's never done before.
Like no, that did not sit well with me. But outside of that, I had no issues with it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always the guy that's like benefit of the doubt, you know. So like for me, it's like, well, I've only really seen one Jaw Titan, and based on the other Titans, they all kind of manifest differently. Like the Armored Titan looks way different than Reiner fights, where it's got like the almost like rock clusters as its armor. And then you look at other Beast Titans.
The Brock Lesnar Titan.
Yeah. But you look at the other Titans, the other like Beast Titans, and they're all like different animals and stuff. So like for me, it seemed weird. Like if only because it was like not even clear what type of Titan he was. Like I did not realize who he was until they called out his name. But for me, I was just like, well, hell, I don't know anything about Titans. You know what I mean? He can be whatever he wants.
True.
But no, I do get it. If I were to like look into it, like if I were to do with Attack on Titan what I do with One Piece, because Attack on Titan has been a show where I'm just like, I just let myself be blown away with every episode.
Yeah,
like,
just enjoy it, not analyze every minute of it.
Yeah, and it's because it's hard to maintain that balance of like analyzing and enjoying. Like and I keep that balance very strict with One Piece because I research it a lot. But I also like the reason that I don't do fan theories or like predictions for the future is just because like I don't want to ruin it. I want to maintain that like I'm surprised every week by what Oda does feeling. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I will analyze the things that have already happened, but I don't analyze anything forward. But yeah, I'm sure if I analyzed Attack on Titan like that and I looked at all the past Titans and found like sketches that the author made of like what the other ones looked like, I'm sure I would have more of a problem with it. But as a base like surface level Attack on Titan fan, that wasn't like the biggest thing for me. One of the things that actually stood out for me is just how quickly Armin forgave Eren. in their
Yeah.
little conversation. That like, and I made a video talking about, you know, my feelings on the finale, and I said there were some things that were conflicting for me. Overall, it's a 9.5, blah blah blah. And I kind of justified people like Mikasa having sympathy for Eren, not forgiving, definitely not forgiving, but having sympathy. I can understand that part, or as I said, looking at him sympathetically. And I kind of related it to like if your child grows up and commits a heinous crime, you can acknowledge that what they did was horrendous, but you're still going to see them as your child.
Right.
So you'll never 100% see them as a monster or as a killer.
Yeah, because they're still your kid.
Yeah, so I can totally understand, like, if my son did something like, I mean, I think 80% of the population is enough that I could just call my son a monster at that point.
I
Like,
mean, if you
that's a
don't, I
big
would
deal.
I would have a whole conversation with you about that.
That's a huge deal. You know
That's
what I mean?
that's a lot.
Yeah, but like, I mean, you know, like if it was, you know, if he like accidentally lost control of his car or like hydroplaned or something and hit somebody, like, I can understand that like the results of him not driving carefully did like potentially harm someone else. You know what I mean? I can acknowledge that all of that is awful and it's something that I'm gonna think about for the rest of my life. But I'm also gonna, like, if he passed away in that incident, I'm also gonna be like, and I shouldn't have said accidentally because that makes it seem like it was just an accident.
Yeah.
But like, let's say he's driving recklessly, loses control of his car, ends up harming someone else, right?
Right.
I would still want to bury him in a peaceful place. I can acknowledge that he was driving recklessly and that he harmed this person, and I will forever, for the rest of my life, on a weekly basis, contact the family to reiterate how sorry I am, right? That my son did this. But I would still bury him in a nice place, right?
It's still your
That part
son.
makes sense. Yeah, that part makes sense for me with Mikasa and the way that, like, because she's madly in love with him, like obsessively in
And
love with
has
him.
been her entire life.
Yeah. But Armin was just like, nah, you're good. Like, you know what I
And
mean? He's
here's
just like, and it was like out of nowhere. And then he's like joking with him about like, what
yeah.
if Mikasa finds somebody else, you know?
Oh, we're gonna be in hell together and all this. But here's the thing: in the manga, this is one thing that they changed that I was a little bit confused. In the
Mm-hmm.
manga, during that conversation, after the whole thing ends, Armin actually says to Eren, "Thank you for becoming a murderer for us."
Mm.
But in the anime, they changed it to "Thank you for showing me all these views." Like, you
Yeah.
know, when as the conversation is going on and they start as a kid and they're growing and going through like different places and all. Yeah, in that part, in the anime ending, they made it, "Thank you for showing me all these views." But in
Yeah.
the manga, Armin actually says, "Thank you for becoming a murderer for us."
Yeah.
And
I
that
don't like
just,
either one of those, to
yeah,
be
no,
honest.
that was horribly done.
Yeah.
Horribly done. And I actually did a little bit of research because someone was commenting some stuff on a video that I posted a few days ago saying that I liked the Attack on Titan ending and asking for people to tell me what they didn't like about. Apparently,
Mm-hmm.
Isayama actually, that's not the ending that he wanted to make, but
Yeah, I saw that video.
the voice actor for Eren actually made him believe that Eren was a good guy. So he felt pressured into changing it and giving him a heroic ending, which I
He fell for
also,
the same trick a lot of the fans fell
yeah,
for.
yeah, which I also don't agree with. I think part, and I said it in my video, I think part of it was just pressure of
Yeah.
how the story was going and people was just not liking it.
Yeah.
And the other part was that I mean, I guess he can be influenced in a way. If a whole, spoiler alert about Jujutsu Kaisen, if a whole manga artist takes a week break just because of what happened to Gojo,
Yeah.
I guess I can understand that a voice actor's feelings and emotions can make him doubt what he's writing in his own story.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I and I said it, Eren did not deserve the heroic ending that he got after everything he did. For
Yeah.
Armin to be like, "Thank you for doing all this for us. I got it from here. Go rest in a quiet place." No, he did not deserve
See,
that.
yeah. See, for me, I think that the entire point of Attack on Titan was that war is not this good guys versus bad guys thing that it's that propaganda will tell you that it is.
Right.
Which is one of the things that I like about Gundam, right? Is that Gundam will show you the action scenes that you want to see. Cool robot, laser beams, laser swords, you know. But it also goes into like none of this is good. Like, yeah, these guys are like the lesser of
Neither
two,
side is winning,
you know what I mean?
basically.
Yeah, but like they're not purely good guys, and you can't boil human beings or their actions down to purely good and bad on a scale like this. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
But the point is, like, most of them are bad. Most of them are more towards bad than good when it comes to war. Like, you have to do things that are horrendous to win a war. Like, it is a necessary evil. It is not, you shouldn't root for the winner. You know what I mean? You should never have been rooting. Oh, well, past a certain point in the story, you should no longer have been rooting for Eren. Like, that was the entire point. But that doesn't mean that you should be rooting for the Marleyans either.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them were horrible to each other.
Right.
And it also is this, it's kind of Eren is the opposite of Thorfinn, right?
100%.
Thorfinn grew up and matured and realized, like, it doesn't matter what grievances I have with anyone else. It doesn't matter that I have the power to take their life due to those grievances. I have no right. You know what I mean? I have no more right to take their life than they do to take mine.
I have no enemies.
So do they. Yeah, and Eren is the opposite. Eren, as he said, is what happens when a bumbling idiot, or what I would say is a child, gets their hands on power. He thinks, and a lot of the younger fans in the anime community also think this way. And it's like, well, if you have power, why not use it to your advantage? Like, you've seen the slideshows, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Me and my boy get superpowers. Cool, now we can be heroes.
Yeah.
Heroes, and then it just shows a bunch of villains. And it's like, that's not good, dude.
No.
Like, this idea that, like, if you got power, the only one that matters anymore is you and the people that you like. Like, Eren is a prime example of the damage that causes and the fact that you are not the good guy. And then you see what he turned his home country into. He became an idol for these people because of all the propaganda and because of the power that he wielded. And now, like, I mean, if there's a sequel to Attack on Titan, it'll probably just be Paradise wiping out the remainder of the rest of the world.
People seem to keep forgetting that with great power comes great responsibility.
Seriously, did we learn nothing from Uncle Ben?
Nothing from Spider-Man and Uncle Ben.
Listen, every reboot, this man sacrifices himself just to send this message, and nobody lets it sink in.
Every single movie, we get the exact same message, and no one is picking it up anymore.
They're MCU only fans.
No, you can be even
Ed went and said it. Finally did.
You can be a DC fan and still know the Uncle Ben quote.
Oh no, yeah, I meant MCU only, as in, like, well, I guess technically all the Spider-Men are now in the MCU.
Yeah,
but I was like, you had Uncle Ben in the first two Spider-Man, with Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, and then it took forever to finally get the Uncle Ben moment with Aunt May.
Honestly,
in the MCU. Yeah.
But I have a still on the whole Attack on Titan topic. What did you think of the history is bound to repeat itself premise? Or as people can
the cycle of war, the cycle.
Right. I had a lot of people in my comment section saying that the quote is actually from, I think it was from Marx or something, saying that those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it, or something like the actual quote. But at the end of the day,
that quote all the time.
At the end of the day, the premise is that history is bound to repeat itself, which is what I think is essentially everything that went on through Attack on Titan from beginning to end, up until the final episode being what the beginning of the story was, of someone walking into that tree, which is the same, or looking like the same tree that the founder first walked into. I don't know if there will be a sequel about Attack on Titan, but if there is, I don't even think it will be, because it's going to be the exact same story, just with new different characters.
Yeah, I would I would hope that there is, like, a one shot following the person who walks into the tree and they just step on the bug.
That would be cool.
Ew, and they just step on it. And it's like a comedic, lighthearted, like, and, like, accidentally, by being scared by this little centipede looking thing, like, they just saved the next generation.
That would be very cool, but I doubt that we're gonna get that.
But no, I mean, I think it's an important lesson to teach. So I'm always all about it when it's in a story. Now, based on the fans' reactions, and I would say that the message was not received. A lot of people,
it wasn't.
A lot of people's main thing was like, well, Eren should have just wiped everybody else out. Eren was right. And
give me a sec real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
So you were saying,
you got out of the room and I was like, Dad, duties.
Yeah, I had to run. My wife sent me a text real quick. I had to go check on the kiddo.
Yeah, no worries, man. I get it completely. That's why, like, you got up and I was like, I know that walk.
I gotta make sure no heads are broken, no fingers are missing.
Yeah. Hey, why are you guys being so loud? Wait. Why are you not being loud?
Yeah, the issue is
What are you
why are
trying to
they
hide
not
right
being
now?
see loud? I can check in on, but not
Yeah.
loud. That's a whole other thing.
Like that Kevin Hart thing where he's just like how dads watch their kids and he's just on the couch. He's like, "Hey,
100%.
better
100%.
in that toilet."
You understand what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, dude. That's what I was actually. I had a great time the other day because we were doing that Fortnite live, and we'll get back to the conversation. But we were just hanging out. It was a rotating cast of my followers that were joining in and playing with us, and one of them that was there in one of the lives, he was there for like probably like 7, 8 games in a row, and we were just like talking about dad stuff while while we're doing it, and like you can hear his kid in the background, and I was like, my people, anime fans who and gamers who have kids. Yeah, no, I think it is an important message. I think that if you're of the proper maturity level to really watch and absorb a show like Attack on Titan, not like at risk of sounding pretentious with that last line, but you will pick up on that. That like, yeah, Eren was the villain the entire time. And genuinely the entire time. We just didn't know it. Eren was the villain. Eren like this solution that he had was way too far. The people on the other side were also the villains because they were also Germany during World War II.
Right.
You know what I mean? When we're introduced to them. And it really is just like, okay, so these people attacked these people. Now these people attacked these people. These people hate these people for what they're doing, and so they wipe them out and become the people that they just wiped out, right? You like you cannot you cannot just use war and violence and power to solve all your problems because all you're going to do is start a revolution in the community that you tried to destroy. Like that's all you're going to do. And I made a video about it the other day, in a One Piece video, where I was talking about like the Will of D and the idea that like we still don't know a lot about it, so this isn't like really a spoiler. But the idea that like wills are inherited, right? Like somebody will pick up the torch in the next generation. And I was talking about like you can't kill an idea. You can kill a man, but you can't kill what he stands for.
Right.
Because someone else eventually will show up with that same will. And like,
Especially with how many people Eren had following him.
Oh well, yeah. But it's like it's the same thing, right? So like you can kill a community, right? But the hatred, the fear, all of that community felt is not just going to disappear from the world. It's going to rise up again, and that's the cycle of hatred, right? It's like, oh, you beat up my little brother, so now I'm going to beat you up. Well, now his older brother's going to beat you up, and now the cops are going to get involved. And now it's like a big thing. Like all you had to do was just get an apology, or all you had to do was like let it go. Even though like if when you're like a teenager and you're young, your early 20s, you're thinking like, oh well, that's a wussy move. I'm not just gonna say, I'm not just gonna forgive him, but sometimes that's necessary. Sometimes you got to stand on business, and other times you just have to let certain things go. Because if you allow hate to like fester in you like that, you're just gonna do something like Eren. You're gonna go too far. Not obviously not to the extent of Eren, but metaphorically, like you're going to take it a step too far.
Right. And the fact that all of this is coming out now with the whole thing with Ukraine and the Middle East.
Oh yeah,
it couldn't have come out at a worse time.
Oh my gosh, or a better time. Maybe it'll give
people
some
better time.
Because I was thinking the same thing while I was watching the episode. I'm just like, these aren't your opponents, dude. These are parents. These are kids. These are grandparents. These are people. These are civilians. They did nothing to you. They have no power in the society that they live in, and you're just like, well. It's like 5 enemy soldiers, 50 hostages, 55 body bags, job done. You know what I mean? And that's the philosophy that Eren really had. He's like, well,
right.
I don't care if you're innocent or guilty, even though my people are innocent, and I want to protect them for that. I don't care if your people are innocent or guilty. If I wipe all of you out, then none of you can rise up. And that was exactly what I was thinking about while I was watching it. Was what's going on right now overseas.
It's insane, man.
Yeah.
But hey, there's only so much we can do.
Yeah. Was there any other complaints that people had about the finale?
Nah, the biggest thing about the finale of Attack on Titan, at least that I saw, was the whole history is going to repeat itself because everything that Eren did was for nothing. There was no purpose to it. And the whole crying over Mikasa thing.
Yeah.
Outside that, there was nothing. But we
Uh,
did get a question on the Spotify podcast on our last episode when we were talking about the whole Naruto and One Piece thing,
yeah.
and someone was asking how would Naruto do in Thriller Bark. That was potentially a fatal fight that was won due to some devil fruit goodness.
Uh,
Because we were talking about a whole like
yeah.
Naruto being in One Piece as like beginning of Shippuden, being able to use shadow clones and Rasengan and all that.
So,
I don't remember Thriller
so here's
Bark
the
honestly, so
yeah.
this is all you.
So the way that Moria fought Luffy, so I don't, I think, like, cause like I said, I see Naruto and Luffy as pretty similar in terms of their strength. So, and I know some power scaler is going to be like, well, but Naruto can destroy multiverses, so that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no, I
But show me the panel. But
show me the little show me the panel and then walks
yeah.
away.
But no, so I think Nightmare Naruto would work. I think he would be able to handle that like Luffy did. But Oars, the way that spoilers for Thriller Bark, by the way.
Yeah, good.
But
No, no, no,
yeah,
no, no. We're not gonna keep doing this, Saiga. Say the line.
spoilers for Thriller Bark. If you're not caught up, feel free to keep scrolling.
It- Come on,
I
man.
usually I usually shorten it on lives because it's like and now on the podcast,
The people want it. The people want to see it.
yeah, skip ahead like 2 minutes and 45 seconds. No, but so the way that Oars fought with Luffy was you had Moria controlling him, and he was bending his shadow to mimic Luffy's fighting style, and that's how, like, basically by bending his shadow, he was able to bend the shape of Oars's body and allow it to
Right.
stretch and stuff. But with versus Naruto, he wouldn't. I mean, he could still do that if he wanted to, but he would have no reason to because he wouldn't have seen Luffy stretching, or he wouldn't have seen Naruto stretching. And I don't think that he would have the capability, because this is that same scenario where Naruto has a mythical nine tails devil fruit, and it has different stages based on the tails. He may have seen like the bone form, as like his armor. He may have seen something like that, but he can't really do that with Oars. So I think it would just be Luffy fighting a really strong giant zombie, an ancient giant zombie. Or sorry, Naruto fighting an ancient giant zombie, and he would still have his Rasengan. He would still have his shadow clones. He would still have all of his regular stuff. So I think he could. I think he could take Oars out in the same way that Luffy did.
Bam.
Yeah.
That's it. Naruto solos. Galaxy multiversal.
Naruto would struggle the same way that Luffy struggled, but he would eventually win.
I believe the exact same thing, man. But for some reason, people, I don't know what is the big deal with having Naruto beat Luffy or Luffy beat Naruto. Like those two are the nicest characters there are. The Oda and Kishimoto are like super close friends, but for some
Yeah.
reason the fandoms are hell bent on
Bro,
having them go at each other.
they posed for a magazine article together. Like they made homages to each other in their manga. Like
Yeah, like on the final chapter, Kishimoto was drawing stuff about One Piece. Oda was drawing stuff about Naruto too.
yeah, so it was, and if you want to look it up, chapter 700 of Naruto is the finale, and it has Naruto's face on the cover page. It has Naruto's face, or is it the cover page? Or is it actually in the?
I think no, I think it's the cover page.
Okay.
Are you talking about the Hokage statue thing?
Yeah. Yeah, so it has Naruto's face up there, and then the Straw Hat Jolly Roger is drawn up on his headband, right? And that was his little wink and nod to his buddy. And then Oda went all out, and I don't remember the exact chapter, but it would have been the one following chapter 700 of Naruto's release, and it had Luffy and Naruto sitting down. Naruto was eating a big like anime meat thing, like
Big chunk
Luffy's
of
always
meat.
eating. Yeah, Luffy was eating ramen, and then you had a little nine-tailed fox, like chibi character that was bringing more food. Nami is wearing a dress covered in the Leaf Village symbols. In the logo for One Piece, from what I remember, I think there was a shuriken as like the dot on the eye. Naruto replaced Luffy in the logo, and the O in One Piece was the Leaf Village symbol. And there's also, so they're in a restaurant, and there's like hanging papers with writing on them behind them, and if you like I think it's like if you take like the first kanji of each one it spells out like, like thanks for the great
Yeah.
run or
Thanks
the
for the
competition or
memories. I
whatever.
think it was.
Yeah. But these dudes love each other. And then, we get to, if you're not caught up to Zoe, feel free to keep scrolling. Uh, but we get to Zoe, and they hear about ninjas, and they're like, oh, can you do shadow clones? Like, they love each other. They're best buddies. Um, but I think here's my perspective on what it is. I think it's a lot of younger fans. The older fans that I see doing it, like the dudes that are like my age and older, even in their like late 20s, it's just for clout. It is purely for clout. I can't. Now that's my perspective because I can't fathom, someone my age being that passionate about something this irrelevant. Um, but I think it's a lot of younger fans. I think they're getting into it. They pick one of the big three because that's what everybody talks about. Usually it's Naruto or One Piece because Bleach doesn't get talked about nearly as much as it should. But eventually you get into the sunk cost fallacy where you
Hmm.
spent so much time watching this show that this one's basically got to be your ride or die, or else you wasted that time. So instead of allowing people, like, here's the three options: you can allow people to convince you wasted your time, you can give zero craps about what they say because you enjoyed your time watching the show,
Right.
or you can go on the defensive. And this show has to be the best. This guy has to be the strongest, and it becomes a my dad could beat up your dad thing. Um, it's like instead of just doing what I do, which is just watch everything and enjoy anime, it becomes a team sport. And that's, especially when you're younger, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you kind of see it, right? Like, this is my team. These are the people that I hang out with. It's the same thing in video games. You got the Call of Duty fans versus the Fortnite fans versus
Right.
the Apex fans.
There's always the rivalries.
Yeah. I mean, there's that's what it is, and hopefully, a lot of them grow out of it. But like, I don't even think that we would have that situation if we didn't have so many content creators fueling that fire. Like there's a lot of content creators that I have blocked purely for the reason that, like, I find that kind of content, that like inciting beef between
Between two
communities,
fandoms.
yeah, I find it annoying. Like, it's not fun. It's silly to even think that that would be like a good way to spend my time.
100%.
Now I have two mutuals that are constantly beefing with each other, but the entire thing is a joke, and I don't mind it because they are both in on the joke, and they will both like go through each other's page and like find an old video where they contradicted a claim they recently made, or like their opinion on something, or like one of them will like talk about a show and then the other one will start it and they'll be like, "Oh, you slept on it till I talked about it. Like, now it's cool." Like, blah blah blah. That's funny because it's just a very long running joke. But yeah, there's the pages that are just like every single video is just like, it'll start with like, Boruto fans are crying right now.
Oh, always.
It's like you are 30. Like, you know what
Like,
I mean? I'm
get
like,
over it.
that is insane to care about. And the one thing that I found too is that a lot of the beef between communities is entirely fabricated. Like, you'll see a video that'll be like, um, One Piece fans are up in arms about this thing that happened in the manga, right? And then you try and find a single One Piece fan who's actually upset about this thing, and you can't, because this person just made that up to like talk bad about One Piece fans. And then you'll get people in the comments that hate One Piece or hate One Piece fans because they think it's a team sport. And they'll be like, yeah, One Piece fans can't handle whatever, right? And then you get One Piece fans that now are upset because now they've been attacked in the comments. And that's what actually incites the conflict. It's the content creator spurring them on. There
Yeah.
was nothing before, you
That's
know?
why I've been saying that social media is what has incited all of this beefing.
Yeah, we
Because
didn't have this back in the day.
even though back in the day some people were like, "Oh, I like this more than that," and there were always the people that are like, "Oh, Naruto can beat Luffy." It was never as huge of a rivalry like it is today, and it's all
Yeah.
thanks to social media.
Dude, my experience as an anime fan back in the day, like in the 90s and the early 2000s, and even into the 2010s, we just watched everything. Like, whatever came
Same,
on
man.
Toonami, we watched from when Toonami started to when it ended, or whenever we fell asleep, you know? It's like, and then, if you could get your hands on a DVD or a VHS of something else, that would just be something added to all of the anime that we've watched. And it was fun. Like, you would watch Toonami, and then you would go to school the next day, and you talk about everything. And if you had a preference, because it's not like it was a utopia where everybody was fans of everything. Some people disliked some shows and liked other ones, but you could just everybody could talk to everybody because we all kind of watched everything, and then whatever you liked, I'm willing to talk about that because I like it too. Or like maybe I'm really passionate about this one show that's coming out. Only one of my friends is passionate about it, but like everybody else is passionate about this other show that I do enjoy, so I can at least be a part of the conversation about the show that they wanna watch, you know. And it was just like that. We had an anime club at my school that was the perfect example of this because people would just bring in anime DVDs and we wouldn't even watch the shows all the way through.
Right,
It
right.
was it was like an hour long class. It was like an hour long thing after school, and they just had a DVD player and a projector set up for us, and they were just like, "Hey, don't break anything," you know. And we would just go in, pop a DVD in, watch 3 episodes randomly of an anime that somebody was really enjoying at the time.
Or whatever random weekend it would come out on the TV.
Yeah, but that was it, and we were just happy to be watching anime, and we were so thankful that there was people around us that liked anime too. And the idea of splitting this small community into multiple even smaller communities would have been completely like nowhere. It wouldn't have been in our minds at all. It would have been ridiculous to even suggest that we should start splitting ourselves into teams. And it's like, that is a byproduct of like something becoming mainstream, right? Like the community gets bigger, the community gets more toxic. Bad eggs from other communities end up joining it by proxy, and but I mean, that's why I don't engage in that stuff, is because that's never how I've enjoyed the anime community, and that's not how I want to enjoy the anime community. It's why
Yeah, me
like
neither.
yesterday back to back I uploaded a video because this guy was trying to say that it's the stupidest argument too. Um, Although in the video I called it the silliest. But the idea that One Piece fans only defend it because they have Stockholm syndrome from watching it for so long. And I'm like, dude, if you don't like the show, you don't like the show. You know what I mean? Like, that's a wild claim to make, But I made a video basically like breaking down like, hey man, maybe you just don't like One Piece, and
Yeah.
so that's why you don't understand,
It's
why.
so hard for people to understand that maybe people just don't like something. They don't have to be
Yeah.
so full into it.
Well, and that's the thing is I made that video, and then I got a comment from a One Piece fan saying people who hate One Piece, he said they lack emotional intelligence, empathy, and the ability to see deeper. And so I responded to him because I'm like, yeah, I'm defending One Piece here, but like we're not on a team, bro. Like if you as a One Piece fan come out and you're like, yeah, people who don't like One Piece are this, and this, I'm not gonna just be like, yeah, because you're on my team, So the very next video I uploaded was calling him out, and then I finished the video with, if you think that someone not liking this thing that you like means that there's something wrong with them, then you clearly lack emotional intelligence, empathy, and the ability to see deeper because you can't even see past your own biases. Like, and that's that. Like, I thought it was really funny to turn his words against him, but it is so funny because I will see sometimes in the same comment section the same user attacking another series unprovoked, and then when somebody calls them out on it, they're like, well, they're always attacking us. And it's like this constant victim mindset that like every fandom has,
Every
that like
fandom has.
we're just trying to enjoy our show, but you people who sit in front of their TV and turn on a different show, you are the bane of
You
my
are the problem.
existence. Yeah. It's like it's like, dude, you don't have to interact with them. Listen, I block a lot of people, okay? I have not reached the max number of people that you can block yet. Just
Is
block
there
people you don't
one?
like. I don't know. Somebody said it was 10K. I'm trying to find out. And
Saiga,
like it's funny too cuz like
Saiga is
I
about 87% there.
yeah, probably. But it's like somebody asked if they could see my block list, and I tried to make that video like screen recording and scrolling down.
It's so long.
Problem is, dude, it's first of all it's a very long list. Second, and the thing is, I don't just block people willy-nilly either. I'm like, just to give you an idea of the state of the anime community, I only block people for racism, sexism, homophobia, ignorance in general, right? When somebody comes in and says some ignorant, like horrendous statement, they get a block, right? The only exception to that is if somebody tries to tell me what to do, right? So like I made a couple videos talking about something that wasn't One Piece, and somebody was like, dude, why don't you post more One Piece content? Like, I don't like this content. And I was like, okay, well, you don't have to see it anymore. And I blocked him,
Bye.
right? But the vast majority is just people coming into my comments completely unprovoked, making racist comments about my wife, making slurs about other anime fans, like, talking about women, whatever it is. Like, just those are the people that I block. And my block list is my block list is way longer than most people, and it's only because I'm trying to get those people out of the people that
Oh
consume my
yeah,
videos. But it's not that I enjoy blocking people, is my point. It's that there's so many like horrendous, terrible people in the anime community, and like people don't like people simultaneously will acknowledge it and then like not really think about it. They're like, no, it's pretty chill. Like as long as you don't deal with X fandom, you're good. You know what I mean? But it's like, no, it's everybody, bro.
yeah.
Like,
I think I remember you left in one of my comments one time that like the animosity of social media or the animosity of the internet has made people just horrendous out there.
it has, and I think a big issue with it too is like I'll call somebody out for something, and I'll get
Right.
a ton of comments saying it's the internet. What do you expect? People think
Like that's not an
that
excuse.
yeah, people think that just because they're on the internet that they should act exactly like the worst possible people on the internet. And that one dude that he was harassing me for a year, and I I had blocked and unblocked him multiple times, and the only times that I unblocked him was to see if he had gotten banned yet, because he's like that in everyone's comment sections. And I finally unblocked him for the last time because then he was in my wife's comments. Like he randomly stumbled across her page as well, and he's making all types of ignorant comments. It was that incel guy, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, and there was so many people in the comments who were like, "That's not even that bad for the internet," and I'm like,
That
dude,
doesn't make it good in any way.
but like it that made no sense if you think about the stuff that he was saying. Like this dude was one of them that's like, I deserve a woman type guys. One of the most dangerous people on the
Because
planet.
I'm nice.
Yeah, because I'm nice. And he's not. He's horrendous. And it's like but like there were hundreds of comment long threads, multiples in that comment section of people trying to explain like why or people arguing about whether or not his actions were actually acceptable. And I'm like, dude, the fact that this is what we're talking about is whether or not this is acceptable shows like how far like how far we've gone into left field, dude. Like
Honestly.
this is crazy. Like it is not hard to just be like I'm and another thing I wanted to bring up with that is that one of his defenses is I don't act like this in real life. I'm like, then why do you act like this on the internet? Because the only time that you're gonna really be yourself is when you feel like there's no consequences for it, right? They say like the only time people tell the truth is in sarcasm, right? So if you're not acting like this in real life, it's because you acknowledge that something's wrong with it, but deep down you want to do it. And like people need to take a look at themselves and realize like what you say on the internet is a genuine reflection of what you feel in your heart. Like what comes
Yeah,
out of your mouth
you might not
did
say
not
it
come.
because people can see you, but you think it.
Yeah,
And just
like
because you're anonymous online, you're gonna post it. Like we know who you are.
yeah. Well, and it's like even if I don't know who you are, I do know one thing about you, and it's that you're not the best person. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And like, but like the baseline for interactions has become so bad that like somebody apologizing for a bad take or like apologizing for like saying something out of pocket is seen as like one of the most like moral high ground things that you can do. And it's like, no, you should apologize. If you say something it doesn't come out right and somebody is like, yo, that's not cool, and you say sorry, that's just how it's supposed to work. You're also supposed to say please and thank you if you didn't know. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's so wild to me. That's why I'm so thankful of the community that I've cultivated. Because despite the email that I received recently of someone saying that they will no longer be watching my videos or interacting with my community because it is one of the most toxic on the app,
No way.
beg to differ, bro.
No way.
You must have been saying some
You have the most
crazy stuff.
toxic community on the app.
Yeah, that was his claim.
How dare you? How
And like
dare you still make content?
yeah. No, but here's the thing, dude. Like my community is incredibly chill compared to a lot of others. I like oftentimes like I'll see like one of my followers will like go after somebody that I responded to, and another one of my followers will show up and be like, dude, Saiga wouldn't be happy if he saw this. And I'll see that even in other people's comments. But they'll be like, this isn't how he would want you to react, right? But then sometimes they do just kind of go after somebody, but the only time they do is when that person was being horrendous.
Horrendous,
Like when
yeah.
they were being awful. So if you come into my email, my business email, and you're like, this is the only way I could contact you, and you're like, your community is terrible and they're the most toxic on this app, you must have been saying some out-of-pocket stuff. And the fact that you don't have enough self-reflection to realize that you might have been the problem. Not that they weren't also
It's
the
always
problem,
somebody else's fault.
yeah, but like the fact that it's like that you thought you could just say whatever you want and nobody would say anything, says a lot. You know what I mean? That's why I'm so thankful that like my community is like self-aware. You know what I mean? And they
Hmm.
even like it's so funny because they even like when we were doing the Fortnite live, like somebody they like were on their mic and they swore and they apologized for it. Like it's like I was like you don't need to. I was like I'm not your dad, dude. I can't tell you whether or not you can say naughty words. You know? I was like the only thing I ask is that you be decent. You know what I mean? You can be a decent
Be a
person and
decent person,
swear.
right?
You know? Like that's not that and but that's because I reinforce that so much. It's kind of like I get a lot of people commenting and saying that my comment sections feel like a safe haven in the anime community. But they're like I know that as long as I'm not being like ignorant or offensive, if I just state my opinion, nobody that has you as somebody that they follow is gonna say anything wrong, like be like mean to me or rude to me or out of pocket or anything like that. They're just gonna be like, oh, I disagree. You know,
Which is
you know,
what everyone strives for. You know,
yeah,
just fair disagreement. You don't like something that I think about. That's fine. That's on you. You know, we think differently. We have our different takes, but you don't have to be an ass about it. Basically.
yeah. I mean, you could always just block me too.
No,
You know what I mean?
blocking. See, I don't block people for the reason that I will block someone that is being just completely ignorant and over the top.
Yeah.
But any like haters that I have, I don't block them because I want to see them how good I'm doing. Like I want to see
See,
them come to my page and try to hate while I'm getting like love from everyone else. And
see, to be,
I guess that's a little petty of me, but I like
no, it's fine. You know,
if they're hating on me that bad, I want them to see how good I'm doing, even though they're hating nonstop.
yeah, they say success is the best revenge. You know,
Exactly.
but no, my thing is I like to block them because I as much as I tell people don't do it, I do get a kick out of the alt account DMing me saying, "Can you
Right.
please unblock me? I know what I said was wrong, but I really like your content." You know, and I'm like, think before you speak, my friend.
You got caught.
I, I always tell them the same thing. I'm like, dude, if you want to follow me again on your alt, just keep your mouth shut. I'll never know. But now I know what your alt is, and I'll block their alt
So
like
then they have to
immediately when
make a
they
third
comment.
one.
Yeah, it's so funny, dude. Because
Uh,
it's like, dude, you like it's that is my toxic trait is that I will mess with somebody like that. Like if they like when they beg to be unblocked on their alt, I'll block it. Or if their friend DMs me and says, "Can you unblock my buddy?" I'll block them too.
block the friend too. Oh, you are so
I'm just
toxic.
like, I'm like, bro, you're guilty by association. Like,
No.
well, it's like if they, I had one recently. This dude was going off on all kinds of stuff. First, he was attacking me for marrying a black woman. According to him, I have no right. She belongs to black men.
Oh,
That was their argument. Yeah,
okay.
and which was a fantastic start. Hell of a handshake. You know what I mean? And so I as calmly and lovingly as I could said that is one of the most horrible things I've ever heard. She's not property, you know. And then he started going. So he was arguing with me about that for a while, and I was just like, "Do you need to chill? This is my marriage. You don't need to worry about it, right? Like I don't even know who you are. You don't know who I am."
Right.
And then he started getting into, well, is she even black? And I was like, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Well, which one of her parents is black?"
Hello?
He goes, if her dad is black, she's black. If her mom is black, then I have no problem with your relationship. And I was like, oh, so we're in two different realities right now. No idea who I'm talking to. So that was one where I was like, I blocked him just because I didn't want to. I was like, I can't interact with this dude anymore. At first, I deleted his comments because I was like, I'm just gonna end the conversation there. And then he came back and tried to continue it, and he was like, no, seriously, which one of her parents is black? And I was like, I was like, no, dude. And
This
at
is
that
not
point, I
gonna keep
blocked him.
happening.
Yeah, that was a wild one. But like most of the time, the stuff that I get in my comments, because I have done a pretty good job of skimming the top, getting the slag out of the metal, you know. The most of the time, what I get is just people showing up and just saying One Piece is mid, which I am. That's just tame internet trolling. I
Yeah.
don't care. I don't care.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I have actually blocked followers in the past for responding to those comments with like a ton of unnecessary animosity, like as if they just like punched their mom in front of them, you know? And like so I just like I have actually been like, and I'll like I've had somebody show up on my page where they're like One Piece is mid or like One Piece sucks, whatever, and like I don't respond, but one of my followers responded aggressively, and I'll block the follower and apologize to the person that said like One Piece is mid. I'm like, that's not representative of my community. Like because I just
Yeah.
can't. I was like I can't exist like that. Um, I've even tried in the past to get my community to make memes out of me. I'll like when I did my cosplay lives, I did one
Right.
dressed as Bon Clay and one as Frankie. I was like, get your screenshots in. Perfect opportunity
Man,
for
I
a
spent
profile picture.
during that time I spent like 10 days asking you to shave your beard, like
Yeah,
fully shave it. I was and for every day like day 7 of asking Saiga to shave his beard.
yeah, and people say that all the time. But I was like, no, I don't. I like having my facial hair. I like
True.
it.
That's hey,
And it's
same.
like, and I don't think I look
I
right
can't grow
without
a
it.
mustache properly, but I like having it there.
Dude, for the longest time, I couldn't grow a mustache. It would just be
I just
it
don't
would
grow
just be
hair in the
peach
middle.
fuzz. I don't either. The middle right here is bald. It's just it's just that the hair
The
is like
rest is
long
long
enough
enough
that
that
it.
you can just cover it. That's
Yeah, I do
cool.
it. I can just do a mustache comb over and and fill it out. Put a little enhancement on there. No, I just let it go. It used to bother me, but at this point, I'm like, whatever. Like, who cares? You know.